I'm going to show you how to hole more putts from 2 to 10 feet like an absolute savage. Sometimes we think that our putting sucks, but it's not that we suck at putting, it's just that we can't read or we don't know where to start the ball. I'm going to show you exactly how I aim for these putts to make so many more than I ever have. But before I could do that, I had to get comfortable with starting the ball on a line outside of the cup. This was very, very difficult for me to do, especially on shorter putts. Once we get to 5 feet, any break, 1% of slope or more, starts on the edge of the hole and outwards. One of the most difficult things I found was to aim far enough away from the center of the cup, and the best way I found to get over the fear of hitting the ball outside the cup on a 4, 5 and 6 footer was to use my prime putt mat at home. On my driveway I have a 2% slope, a 3% slope, and next to the house a 1% slope. When you have a 4-foot putt and there's any break in it, a 1% slope is on the inside edge, 2% is half a cup outside of that. I line the putt up to half a cup outside the inside edge, and with the correct speed it goes into the cup. And 3% is a cup outside of the 1% reed. On a 4-footer you don't think you're ever going to go so far outside the cup, but on a 3% slope, let's start at the 1% is inside the edge, half a cup outside of that is 2%, 3% is a cup outside of the 1% line. Now that's quite a lot of space to go outside the cup on a 4-footer. So on a 4-foot putt, 3% slope, I can go toward the pink, and that's going to die into the cup at a perfect speed. When we get to 5 feet, the only thing that changes is our cup that we aim 1, 2 and 3% with shifts to the edge. On the edge of the cup, 2%, half a cup, 3% outside of that, an entire cup outside of the hole. It's so difficult to commit to that much break on a 5-footer, but practicing on the prime putt here at home, I learned that when I get to the course I can have full confidentiality hitting the ball outside the cup, and with the correct speed gets in the back of the jar. From 6 feet, our 1% slope starts outside the edge and our 3% slope is a cup outside of that. So just a little bit more than a 5-footer, but you can start memorizing this stuff and you are going to be an absolute bomb.com. Right in the back of the jar. Takes a long time to get used to, but I like the mat. You get them in 9 feet, 8 feet, 15 feet, and you can practice any length putt you want. And as you know, I'm a bomb.com inside of 8 feet, like a bouse. I don't use any training aids except my prime putt mat at home, putting like this on slope and indoors on flat surfaces just to get used to where I'm aiming the ball. The holes have been made so that they capture the ball like you're on a golf course. You can see there's a little raised edge here, absolutely brilliant, rolls about 9, 10 on the stimp, about the green speeds we play. One other thing is a digital level. The digital level is a very valuable piece of equipment so that you can start to feel and see slopes like a bouse. 2-foot putt, start at the center, inside the high side, jam it if there's any break in the putt. The 2-footer is the shot that we can hit inside the cup and jam it so that we take out some of the break. This is a 3% slope, so when we line it up, we line up our face to the center of the cup, and whichever way it's breaking, we can just turn it to the inside of the high side. You can hit it a bit firmer, hit the back of the cup, goes in the hole. On a 3-footer, we have to be a little bit careful because the break does come into play, especially if your greens are a little quicker or you're a little downhill. If you jam it too hard and you lip out, you're going to leave yourself 4 or 5 feet back to the cup. This is dealer's choice. So if your green speeds are below 9, okay, try jam it. If you're playing 10, 11 stimp greens, you're going to have to take into account the break. And what that normally means on a 3% slope is you want to go inside the cup, but just inside the left edge. Give it a chance to go in. For 7, 8, 9 and 10 feet putts, there's a bit of a formula we can use and you can slowly get used to it. But first we have to understand where's the straight putt. We call this the 4 line or the 0 break line. It's at 12 and 6 on the clock. I see the green as a clock face that's tilted. Most of the time inside 10 feet, you're not really going to have that many double breakers. The 0 break line is important so that we can establish the 3 o'clock line and the 9 o'clock line. The 3 o'clock line is the beginning of the formula. The 0 break line from 12 to 6 has 0% slope. It's a straight putt. We at 3 and 9 o'clock can see the slope here with a formula and then calculate it around the rest of the clock. Here's the trick. The formula is slope divided by 2 multiplied by the distance of the putt in feet gives you the number of inches to measure outside the hole. From 3 o'clock we can work out 4, 5, 5:30. This putt is sloped at about 4%. So we have 7 feet. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 2 times 7 is 14 inches. So with a 7-foot putt on a 4% slope, we have a starting line at about 14 inches outside the cup. From 8 feet, 4 divided by 2 is 2, 2 times 8 is 16. So we put the aiming spot 16 inches outside the hole. From 9 feet, 2 times 9 is 18 inches. And then from 10 feet, 2 times 10 is 20 inches. We move the aiming spot 2 inches outside of the previous one. Absolutely money. This is where the fun begins. At 9 feet, at 3 o'clock, we move to 9 feet at 4 o'clock. Moving from 3 to 4 o'clock, we take 90% of the break that we were using at 3 o'clock. So 9 feet was 18 inches outside the hole. From 4 o'clock, 90% of 18 is 16.2. So we'll go about 16 inches outside the cup. That's about 16 inches outside the cup. That's our starting line in the hole. When we move to 5 o'clock, we take 50% of the break of the 3 o'clock read. So 9 feet at 3 o'clock was 18 inches. Divided by 2 at the 5 o'clock, we're at 9 inches outside. So 9 inches is the break on this putt into the cup. Then from 5:30, it's 25% of the break we used at 3 o'clock. So 18 inches divided by 4 is 4.5 inches. And then we move to 6 o'clock, it should theoretically be a dead straight putt. Money, 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 money. Okay, Matty Boom Boom, thanks for that information. Looks very complicated, but how do I find the damn fall line? Well, here's a little secret for you. Here in Thailand, we have plastic liners in the top of a cup. You should have dirt. I don't know why we have these here. You should have about an inch of dirt here where this plastic liner is. Where this plastic liner disappears, you should be able to see it. It's about in the middle of the cup. When it's symmetrical and in the middle of the cup here, your dirt should disappear and actually make a little sharp triangle where it disappears. When it's symmetrical on even sides of the hole, now you found the fall line. Generally, practice it on your putting green at your golf course and you're going to find, wow, okay, I'm pretty good at finding the fall line. Double check yourself. Put a ball at the 12 and 6, see if it's straight. Now at the practice green, use your digital level to feel the slope in your body, and then eventually your sight is going to be so good and your feel will be so good you can identify 1, 2, 3, 4% slope. You can start learning how 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5% feels like by practicing with your level. Feeling and seeing what a slope looks like is important to gauge the percentage of the slope. But then we also want to know how long a putt actually is, the reality. When I see a putt that's this long, sometimes I think it's 2 feet. So it's important to identify what 3 feet looks like. That's about the length of a 36-inch putter. Mine's 34 inches, so that's about 3 feet, close enough. Then 2 putters is going to be 6 feet, and 3 putters is 9 feet. When you're looking at your putt and it's inside the grip, it's about 2 feet, and your grip is about 1 foot long. So once you know those, you can start identifying and practicing how long a putt actually looks so that you know where to aim based on the length of the putt. Absolutely money. Prime Putt Putting Mat, check the link in the description. Get yourself one, train at home, 8 feet, 9 feet, 15 feet, whatever you need. I'm getting the 15-footer too because I want to get better at those, like a boss. Practice on your Prime Putt mat at home in the off-season or anytime you get at home. You saw these putts I hit. They almost all start outside the cup except inside 2 and 3 feet. Now if you like this putting video, check out this masterclass right over here. Probably the best putting video on YouTube. You should be paying about $1,000, $2,000 for this knowledge right over here. Come on now, partner. Get done. I'm saying. Shit.